Schoutsen here with you.
Yeah, it's nice to be here. I'm Tom Reynolds, and it's a fairly good start to the day out there. No major weather event right now, which is good news.
Yeah.
Unless you happen to be going up through Muskoka.
Yes, then squalls could be an issue today. But the one thing that I really notice now is it's 2 degrees, it's 3 degrees, but we can't blame that on being below seasonal. It's just reality.
Yeah, that's true. I was about -8 when I was coming down this morning.
Okay.
So it's still a little bit brisk, but it's we're starting to get immune to it, I think.
I think a little bit.
Maybe.
Our driving today, let's say Newmarket, Vaughan, maybe even as south as Oshawa. Prepare for a few extra minutes. But first, here's Tom. You know what? Not a whole lot. So maybe that's the good news as we're getting into the weekend. Today we see, again, with this wind here, good setup to be seeing some of those snow squalls. Then high pressure comes into play, and overall things are looking pretty good. We do have a system that's moving through stateside. So watch this guy here. It should be staying south of the lake, but with some model change, we could be getting wet into Saturday. Now, highlighted in the blue, that's where we do have the warnings. The watch highlighted in the white. So let's say you're traveling up the 400, Highway 11 in towards Gravenhurst or Bracebridge, you will be in a snow squall warning. So take that very seriously, as we could see low visibility and treacherous driving conditions again. Now, this is some good news. This afternoon, high pressure comes into play, and that powers down the snow squall machines. So we will not be seeing them into the afternoon. Through the overnight, clear conditions, and then Friday, cloud cover continues to build. And that's because we have this system, a pretty juicy system here, passing to the south of us. Models right now say it's to the south. Niagara region could be getting into some snow, but there is a slight chance things could track a little further north, and that's why we do have this icon here for Saturday. Okay, turning it over to Tom now.
I'm Michelle Mackey, joining you today from Harbourfront Centre's Natrel Rink, trying to learn how to figure skate from the one and only Dylan Moskovich, of course, the Olympian silver medal in the figure skating team.
Michelle, I think I'm stealing your job.
Well, maybe I'll take your job. Hey! Sending it back inside to you.
Oh, dear. Oh, she managed to recover quite nicely. She didn't fall right down. So good for her. We'll give her a 5.5.
All right, thanks, Tom. I think Michelle on those skates kind of reminds me of Bambi. Yeah, Bambi just learning how to walk. I love it. Stay with us. More on that coming up. And now we have our snow squall watch. So the good news is all of those warnings have been dropped. We're still watching these areas, though, around Grey Bruce, stretching into Barrie, because this is where situations could get a little dangerous when you see this. Yeah, this is our live radar right now, so we can see some pretty significant snow. Yeah, that's happening through Barrie, stretching through eastern portions of the GTA. Less than 2 centimeters of snow, yeah, and then high pressure comes into play this afternoon and calms everything down.
Sending it back inside.
You know, she's doing pretty good out there. It reminds me of my best friend, Kelly Phillipson. She used to skate for Team Canada's synchro team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she is an amazing skater. She's skated in Italy, in Switzerland, all over Canada. It takes a lot of talent.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
To try to keep it off the gluteus maximus
Yes.
is not that easy. And it's good to have one of those cushions.
Yes, it is good to have a cushion.
Yeah, good idea.
All right, today as we talk about our weather story east of the GTA. So not so much our story here at home, but we'll break down our story coming up in a second. But first, here's Tom. Today is going to be a fairly calm day. Once all those snow squalls calm down, we're really not seeing too much in the way of weather. High pressure comes into place, calms down those winds, and we're left with a clear day. Temperatures around 1 degree, that's the high, so it's going to be cold. Yeah, it's December now. Now, as we look, we see the cloud cover build into Friday, and that's why we're watching this. This is a pretty juicy system that's tracking through the U.S. We're hoping that's where it stays. If models switch, we could see a rain-snow mix Saturday. Yeah, as we can see here, the snow squall warnings have ended, but the watches are still in place. And I want to draw your attention to our live radar right now, because look at Barrie. This is some pretty heavy snow that they're getting into right now. So like Tom was mentioning, if you're driving along the 400, things could get dicey, maybe even over towards Angus, Ontario as well. Some pretty heavy snow. Now it continues on down in towards the southeast. it starts to diminish. We could be seeing flurries, though, in places like Newmarket, Orangeville, maybe even in towards Vaughan as well. Now, high pressure comes into play for the afternoon, and that calms down the snow squalls. So that's the good news. Boring weather into the afternoon. Yeah, not too much going on. But in towards Friday, lots of cloud cover builds. Niagara will be getting into some rain, and will the GTA, will the City of Toronto see some rain? As of now, this system stays to our south. More on that coming up.
Be warm like me. I'll send it back inside to you. I think my skills are picking up.
You know what I'm sort of thinking? As soon as that Olympian left, Michelle got a lot better at
Yeah,
skating.
she's getting fancy-pantsy. I think she wanted the Olympian to catch her or something.
I think you're
Oh,
right.
I think
That's
so.
the
There's
track
something
I was
method
on.
in her madness.
I like it, Michelle. All right, Rachel Schoutsen here with you, Tom Reynolds, and it's another day of snow squalls.
Yeah, I just talked to my brother-in-law up in Barrie. Ed, he's taking care of his granddaughter, and he said it's a little bit of light snow out there right now, about half an inch so far. But he says it's pretty light in the Barrie area. But by the streamer, it looks like it's pretty heavy just south of Barrie as well.
Okay, we'll show you the radar coming up, and for the driving conditions right now here in the GTA, I'll send it over to Tom. You know what, Tom? It looks pretty good. Yeah, once the high pressure comes into place this afternoon, that's when the snow squalls are all going to settle down. And then we're left with a fairly clear day. Temperatures around 1 throughout the GTA. Now, cloud cover does build in through Friday, and that's because we have this right to the south of us. Yeah, look at this. Tracking perfectly south of the GTA. If we do see a little switch, this is when the City of Toronto and Southern Ontario could get into a rain-snow mix. It looks pretty good. Things are going to be nice into the weekend. We're keeping an eye on a system right now, though, that's in the U.S., so we'll talk about that in a second. But first, currently, snow squall watch is in place. Grey Bruce out in towards Barrie. I'll show you the live radar right now. We can see this band coming through Barrie right along the 400. Low visibility possible. I'm going to stay with this one. Not hugely significant in terms of the snowfall, but enough in that morning rush hour to see some dangerous situations. Now, high pressure comes into place throughout the afternoon, and that calms down the winds. Now, I want you to stay with us here at the Weather Network, because coming up, we're going to talk about this blob of moisture. Subway, perfect way to start a Thursday morning. And let's talk about our temperatures, a touch milder than what we have seen. Yeah, -1. It's still freezing, but -1 for the City of Toronto, -3 in Newmarket. And we're also seeing snow squall watches and warnings. Temperatures cooler once you head up further north, and this is where you could be seeing some messy driving conditions. Right now, warnings along the 411. And boy, do we know that to be true. Now, don't we? Rachel Schoutsen here with you today. And yesterday in places like Barrie and Guelph, that's exactly what happened. In the blue, that's where we do have the warnings. The watch highlighted in the white. So let's say you're traveling up the 400, Highway 11 in towards Gravenhurst or Bracebridge, you will be in a snow squall warning. So take that very seriously, as we could see low visibility and treacherous driving conditions again. Now, this is some good news. This afternoon, high pressure comes into play, and that powers down the snow squall machines. So we will not be seeing them into the afternoon. Through the overnight, clear conditions, and then Friday, cloud cover continues to build. And that's because we have this system, a pretty juicy system here, passing to the south of us. Models right now say it's to the south. Niagara region could be getting into some snow, but there is a slight chance things could track a little further north, and that's why we do have this icon here for Saturday. Okay, turning it over to Tom now. All right, looks beautiful out there. And you know what, Tom? I come from a hockey family. I got my first pair of skates at 4.
Yes.
And I still really can't skate. I'm not good at it.
You haven't used them since?
Yeah, I haven't used them since. They're still in the box. Perfect condition.
Yeah, good. Well,
yeah.
good quality.
Maybe I'll put them on Kijiji this afternoon.
Yeah.
You know what? My brother, I have a twin brother named Jonathan, and he is just so good at everything that has to do with sports.
Right.
So I was always the kid who...
Well, there you go. You got all the looks, and he got the sports, right?
Well, thanks, Tom. The gift of gab, too. Okay, let's get into this. Snow squall watches are... The good news is this will all taper off into the afternoon. I'll have those details in a second, but first, here's Tom. It looks pretty good, and you know what? I was talking with Dr. Doug just in our commercial break, and a warm-up is in store. Yeah, second week of December. Things are going to be feeling good. Now, as we look at this, high pressure comes into play for this afternoon, and that's going to slow down the winds, so we won't be seeing so much lake effect snow in places like Barrie, let's say. Now, as we get into, let's say, tomorrow, this is when we do see a system that's just skirting to the south of us. And this is when things could get a little tricky in terms of our forecast. Right now, we are hoping it stays stateside, but there is a chance of seeing a rain-snow mix. Yeah, watches and warnings still in place with these snow squalls. So if you're driving, let's say, along the 400, Highway 11, you could be getting into some messy conditions. Not a huge amount of snow here, less than 2 centimeters. But as we see the track, this could track into some northern areas of the GTA. We're talking maybe Orangeville, Brampton, even as far east as Oshawa. Yeah, you could be getting into some snow this morning. Now, high pressure comes into play through the afternoon, and that diminishes the snow squalls. So some good news there. Cloud cover will build into Friday, and that's because we have a system that's just passing to the south of us. Yeah, watch this here. It perfectly misses the GTA. If that track changes, this is where we could get into a rain-snow mix. So our icon for Saturday right now putting us at about a 40 pop. Well, I'm glad you could join us this morning. Thank you. Rachel Schoutsen here with you today. Snow squalls have been an issue throughout the morning. We'll get into that story in a second. But beautiful conditions in the city of Toronto. Let's head outside to Michelle Mackey. Michelle, earlier you were with Olympian Dylan Moskovich, and he was teaching you how to skate.
Calm, and I'll send it back inside to you, Rachel, while I practice my moves.
You know, the professional skaters, Michelle, they make it look so easy out there. One of my best friends, Kelly Phillipson, she used to skate for Team Canada's synchro team. It's a beautiful sport, but they make it look too easy. Me, I'm not a good skater at all. Overall, not too much weather to deal with today. Snow squall watches are in place. Yes, all of the warnings have ended. And here's the thing, as high pressure moves in today, this is going to calm the winds down and basically diminish those snow squalls. Into tomorrow, look what happens here. Lots of cloud cover develops. So see that sunshine today. Lots of clouds into Friday, and that's because of this system. This system that is tracking through, hopefully stateside. If the models change, could jump up into the GTA, and this is where on Saturday we could see a rain-snow mix. Okay, it's that time in the show. Time for the Long Ranger. Rachel Schoutsen, Dr. Doug here with you. And for the next week, us here in the GTA, we're on a relatively calm, smooth kind of weather pattern.
We sure are. Yeah, the weather pattern's taking a bit of a breather. No major storm systems in the long range forecast. A system tracking just to our south on Saturday could bring a little bit of messy weather Saturday morning, but as we look ahead to next week, fairly quiet. Okay. Let's take a quick look back. This was November. Coast to coast, below seasonal temperatures, and here in the GTA, it was our coldest November since 1996, and our 10th coldest November on record. So certainly a quick start to winter.
Yeah, and as we take a look at our winter outlook here, unfortunately, this says below normal.
Well, the skiers love it. People who like to snowmobile will like that pattern. But December looks like a bit of an anomaly. You know, we're not expecting to go really into that, back to that pattern until towards the end of the month. As we go into next week, a nice warm up. Early and middle of the week, still some chilly temperatures. The big story, a nor'easter, but look at the Pacific air. This will be headed here late in the week.
Yeah, and look at this. This is a real good map. I like when we see this mild across the nation. Now, Doug, when we say mild, are we talking 10 degrees?
It's possible. It's still a little early to say, but as we go into next weekend, not this weekend, we could see temperatures approaching 10 degrees. So a kind of a nice mild period right in the period of time last year where we were getting our first major winter storm.
Right. Okay, so this is some possible good news. Now, as we look in towards Monday, seasonal day, Tuesday, seasonal as well. We don't really have a big weather story into next week.
We sure don't. I mean, Wednesday will be the coldest day. We do have our nor'easter, so if you're headed to Atlantic Canada, that'll be a big issue. But as we go into Friday, temperatures get milder, and again, it's next weekend that looks quite mild. Great for Christmas shopping.
All right, we are predicting a warm-up for mid-December, so keep it here at the Weather Network for more.